do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
Welcome to another episode of Tech Q&A, hosted by yours truly, Tech Coach Ralph, where we are, as always and forever, engineered to win. That's what we do here. We win in all aspects of life, whether it is working or jiu-jitsu or whatever it is that we're doing, we win, all right? And we also define what winning means to us so that we can set goals and we can go out there and crush it. If you do not know who I am, which I did just say it, but I am Tech Coach Ralph, and I will be leading you throughout the night for our Q&A session. I say it's Tech Q&A, but it touches on careers and stuff like that, right? So we have a bevy of questions, topics tonight to cover. So we will have some fun. But let me pull this up real quick. All right. But before we do any of that, you know what we have to do here. We have to go through our agenda. So first things first, as always, as I always love to do, I want to say shout out to all of the newest subscribers. You guys are amazing. Seeing so much love. So the comments that I'm getting on the videos that I'm putting out, trying to, give you a different mindset, help you to see things a different way so that you can have that mindset to go out there and crush it and to not allow them to just give you a chance, but to make your chances and show that you were and you are the right decision, the right man or woman for the job. Because, well, what I like to do is I like to empower you to put in that work, get that work ethic, develop that work ethic that it's compared to none. And then, they look at you and they're like, oh, I can't keep up. I can't keep up. Right. So shout out to the newest subscribers to the channel. I have to just say,
I appreciate you.
I truly, truly do appreciate you. And shout out to the tech barbarians, including the newest ones and the ones that's been there for a while, the ones that hit me up on a regular basis. I truly, truly love it.
I appreciate you.
I love talking to you guys. I love getting your questions. And I encourage you, if you are in the Patreon, go ahead and send me a message, right? Ask me your questions, whatever it is that you need, right? And I will take care of it for you. I want to say a special shout out to my newest tech barbarian, Tara. My newest Patreon member, Tara, right? She, on her second day in the Patreon, sent me a message about her history and QA and all that she's doing and how she wants to level up to automation. And I'm all for it. I'm going to be responding to her to, give her a blueprint on how she can do that. But I just love when people sign up and they actually use the service. I don't want to get on a tangent right now, but how many people sign up for something and then they never use it? and they just keep paying for it, right? Like, it doesn't make any sense. I'll give you a quick story. When I was signing up for jiu-jitsu, right? They had different plans. They had a plan where you can go twice a week. You can go 3 times a week. I think there was one for once a week too at the time. And then you could do unlimited, right? So what did I do? I did the math. I'm like, all right, if I go twice a week, it's going to cost me this much. If I go 3 times a week, and this much per class, right? So I did the math. I said, how many? So 2 times a week, that's eight classes in a month. Did the math. I'm like, okay, it would cost me this much per class, right? So then I said, all right, if I go 3 times a week, that is 12 classes in a month. It's going to cost me this much. If I take unlimited and I go, let's say 6 days a week, right? And I'm like, wow, I'm getting the cost really, really low. And I'm getting a very good education as well. And I'm developing these skills, like so many skills beyond just like learning how to grapple or how to fight, how to choke people, right? So many, like that is like, to me, that's the least that you get there. Like the work ethic and the discipline and the mindset that you get, that, like, for me, that's why I'm there, right? And so, but it's just like, I do the math, right? I do the math. Okay. So why, that's what I wonder. Like, why do you sign up for something and you don't use it? You have resources, right? I know, like, we have the cybersecurity Q&A coming up next week with Socks. And we're asking everyone, like, hey, do you have any questions? Like, so many people, I want to go into cybersecurity. Every other day, I want to get into cybersecurity. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, well, we're having a cybersecurity Q&A. You have any questions? Crickets. I need a cricket sound. Crickets, right? So use your resources wisely. The people that you have available today will not always be available forever. We might move on one day. And I'm not talking about death or anything like that. We just might move on from what we're doing now. I love the phrase of go where you're appreciated, not where you are tolerated, all right? So make use of your resources, the people who are offering you game, make use of it, right? And especially if you sign up for something, use it. Don't go spending money and wasting money. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people just waste money for the sake of it, but don't waste your money. If you invest in yourself, use that investment, all right? So let's get into our agenda. You see, I got carried away. I got carried away by that, right? But it was just impressive how the newest Patreon member, like I sent them a message, say thank you for signing up, and then boom, right there. Then they immediately wrote back, and I have another person I'm going to mention too, but I'll get to that a little bit later, all right? So with that being said, after my long rambling rant about how you should not waste your money and how you should use every single resource to your best ability, go ahead, and if you are new to the channel, or maybe you're not new to the channel, right? Maybe you've been here for a while, but you haven't just clicked that button yet, right? Maybe you're looking in the chat. Close out the chat, because if you're on your phone, right, it always pops up the chat when you open a stream, right? So close out the chat, click the subscribe button, like the video, share the video, hit the notification bell so you can know every time that we go live, all right? And of course, check out the Patreon at www.techcoachralph.dev, all right? Do that for me. Check it out. You can just sign up for free, and then you can go from there, right? You don't have to pay anything to sign up. Sign up for free, and then you can see all the videos that are being put in there, and I know you're going to want to watch them, so then you can make a decision from there, right? So that is the first message. The second thing I want to talk about is, well, this might be the third or the fourth, but who's counting anyways, right? So what I want to share with you now is, what is our live show schedule? The people want to know. So you want to know how to catch me live? So we have Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 7:15 a.m. Eastern time, where we go into coffee and kata. We have our cup of coffee. We review a couple of news articles, and then we jump straight into the coding challenges. Right now, we are working our way through the Chaos Camp by our good friend Don, the Rock, Paper, Scissors challenge. So join us for that. And then we have Sunday afternoons. We have our software explorations. We are going through Terraform, the mean swamps of Terraform. We had We had a great time this past Sunday, but we are still falling short of exactly where we want to be. So we are going to tackle that this coming Sunday. So definitely join us for that. Tuesday nights, we have our Q&A session. Like tonight, we have our Q&A session. And do not forget, send in your questions for the cybersecurity Q&A next Wednesday or next Tuesday. Jesus Christ, what am I talking about? Next Tuesday night, December 12th, 2023, right? Q&A night with our good friend Nico Socks. We're going to be joining him on his live. I'm also going to be streaming it here as well. But we are going to be answering your questions about cybersecurity and all the different things about it, the different roles, the different fields, everyone like the coding roles, the non-coding roles, all of that good stuff. So if you are interested in cybersecurity, I highly, highly encourage you to be there. Put your questions in the chat. The best thing is if you want to guarantee you get your questions answered, send in your questions early now so we can get through it. All right. Okay. Then we have Thursday nights, software explorations. Last Thursday, we were going through Amazon Q. We still have some configuration to do on that, but I recently heard about Amazon Fargate, which is for serverless containers. And I have a container I need to launch. So we are going to be exploring it tomorrow to figure out how that goes. And Jesus, what is going on with me and my dates? I am getting the whole entire week wrong. On Thursday, it's already scheduled. So just go over there already and hit the notification bell, like the video and share the video so people can know that we're going to be streaming about Amazon Fargate, talking about serverless containers. All right. So that's the plan. So that one more time, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 7:15 a.m., our morning show, coffee and kata, news and coding challenges. Sunday afternoons, software explorations. We're focusing on Terraform. Tuesday nights, Q&A sessions with a special Q&A next week for Cybersecurity Week of December. All right. And then Thursday nights, more software explorations. We are going to be focusing on AWS Fargate this coming Thursday. All right. So that is the live show schedule. But wait, there's more. What about, do you have any pre-recorded content, Tech Coach Ralph? Well, I surely do. So on Mondays, we have Candid Conversations. Yesterday's Candid Conversation was amazing. I was talking about finding the right mentors. I started talking about it last week, Thursday, for the Amazon Q stream, but I went deep into it on yesterday. So I would definitely recommend you check it out about why finding the right, not just any mentor or not just a mentor that somebody assigns to you, but finding the right mentor is essential. It is essential to your growth and development. All right. And then we have Wednesdays, we have software explorations, concept and overviews. Tomorrow, I am going to be doing a brief overview about what we know so far about Amazon Q. It is still in its infancy stage. It's still in beta and stuff like that, right? It hasn't been fully released, but we're going to go over what we know, why it's useful and stuff like that. So tomorrow, Amazon Q. And then on Fridays, we have the Bug Bite where we review, different hacks and bugs that affected companies and their customers. And you know what? I was planning on doing one particular review this coming Friday, but I might have to pivot because we might have to bring 23andMe back to the front of the congregation. It is what it is. I hate to do it, but we might have to, right? In recent news, how many people data was leaked from 23andMe? And that's why I keep my DNA to myself. Well, except for when I'm sweating on jujitsu or somebody, or bleeding or something like that. But other than that, that's totally different story. Let's scratch that. All right. So, and then throughout the week, we had I can't stand shorts, but they're useful, I guess, right? But sometimes, I might release some shorts every now and then. But Monday through Friday, we have we have a clip from tonight's show, right? The Q&A session, right? And we just clip it up and we make it available to you in short bite-sized pieces. They go about, for the most part, 7 to 10 minutes each, where you just get that straight information. You don't need to go and like sometimes it's impossible. Like especially if you are a tech barbarian or you are in like a tech explorer in the Patreon. I know you guys are working, right, and studying and trying to, whether it is data engineering or whether it's QA, whether it's UX UI design, whatever it is that you're doing, right? I know you guys are working at it, right? And I just don't always expect you to be able to catch the live Q&A show. But there might be a pressing question that you want to know, and I make it available to you in bite-sized pieces, all right? So something for everybody. So that's why I say share it. Share it with everybody, because there's going to be something for them, whether it's about career stuff or whether it's about tech stuff, whether it's about being in software development, whether it's about, whatever it is. And to add, right, because so that's the, let me just run down the pre-recorded content real quick again, right? Mondays, candid conversations. Wednesdays, software explorations, concept and overviews. Fridays, the bug bite. And then throughout the week, we have Monday through Friday, we have our Q&A clips, right? So shout out to that. But when I say that there is something for everybody, so I'll just talk about this now, right? So yesterday, I went on to the show. So I had the morning live stream early at 6:15 a.m. because I wanted to join the stream of Tech Niche Tips, because we were having a conversation. I would say it was more of a conversation, mini debate, right, about which is more effective. Is it your resume or is it networking, right? And I took the position of the resume is way more important, because how many crappy resumes have I seen in the past 6 months? Right? We started in May, reviewing resumes all the time. You guys sending me your resumes, and I'm like, well, just follow this for now. Like, get started with this, and then once you implement that, then I can give a serious look at it, and then we can go from there, right? So I took the position on resumes, and the mindset that your resume is a networking document, and it is your first impression, right? It's your before they meet you, that your resume is your representative. So, right, whatever. But that's not important. But the reason that I bring that up is that I, funny enough, am always networking with people, because I like to go to different industries, because what they do over there, right? They're primarily like tech sales and sales development representatives, account executives, and stuff like that, right? And they work for tech companies. They have to know the technology and stuff like that. But I'm totally not familiar with tech sales, because I've never been on that side of it. I've always been on the development side, right? But I go over there because I want to meet more people, and to also, at some point, bring them to you here as well, so that you can also see the other options that you have. It's not only QA. It's not only software engineering. It's not only front end development. It's not only cybersecurity, right? Because guess what? For when I say our personality type, those in like the development role and stuff like that, we're not the biggest talkers, right? We're about we love the code. We're about putting in the work in the code, right? And just like throwing stuff out, and just in building, right? We're builders, right? But there's another side of it, that they're also in tech, which is the tech sales, who they might like to talk, they like to network, they like to go to events and meet people and stuff like that, right? To sell the company's product. They're selling. So, and here's why I find Tech Niche Tips and Joseph over there, Trey, and all the people who rock with them, right? I find them extremely valuable, because guess what? Without them, who's going to be selling the amazing products that we create, right? So I'm looking, and that's why I'm Tech Coach Ralph, right? I'm not like QA Coach Ralph or software development Coach Ralph. No, I'm Tech Coach Ralph, because I like to bring all the aspects of tech together and see, okay, how do we bring value to our tech sales brothers and sisters, right? To our account executive brothers and sisters, right? Over the weekend, I was watching an interview with Joseph at Tech Niche Tips, with a lady named Zoya, about some work that she's doing as an account pretty much her story about account management, sales development representative, all that, right? And I was like, I was impressed about like what they do over there, and so and I'm always trying to connect to bring more value to you wonderful people here because this ecosystem it's vast, right? From the DevOps engineers to the cybersecurity engineers to the IAM engineers to the site reliability engineers to the software developers, the software engineers, to the web developers, to the UI UX people, right? To the Scrum Master. Oh, don't get me. I have so much immense respect for the Scrum Masters. It's crazy, right? But to the Scrum Masters who have to deal with all the stuff that they have to deal with, trying to herd us cats, I totally leave it up to you. I praise you. All right. But to the Scrum Masters, to the product managers, to the product owners, to the account, to the customer success managers, to the QA engineers, to the sales people, right? To the account executives, to the tech sales, right? I rock with you all, and we need to work together to see, because my goal is to see how can I add more value into them, right? What struggles do you have with the software? What could be done easier to help you understand the software? Is it better documentation? Can we create like some videos? How can we help empower you so that you can go out there and be in a better position to sell our softwares? And that's why I rock with them. And as well as like all the way to the other side, like maybe cybersecurity is all the way on the other side. What should I be testing for in my test cases so that I can make make sure that our software is fortified and secure so we can protect our clients, because we don't want to get 23 and mead. No, we don't, right? So, and all the stories that we have on the bug bite, we don't want that to happen to us, right? So we don't want to be, sitting there. So that's why I'm always looking to reach out and, oddly enough, network with all these people. But I will say, right, my resume is what qualifies me to be able to be in that position to do that. So get your resumes right, get your networking right. You know what I preach. Like, it is a full attack that we have our resumes right, we have our networking right. In the LinkedIn, right? The last video I think that I dropped was how to effectively network on LinkedIn, right? Go out there and do that. Get yourself right, and on the show, someone in the comments had mentioned yesterday about the importance of conferences, which I totally agree with. Conferences, networking events, they to me they might be a hit or miss, but conferences, they are very important because everybody there, they are there for a reason. They are there working on the same goal in the same direction, and you can learn tons and tons from that. All right, so that's so I just wanted to talk about that real quick on like why I go where I go and why I try to put I just try to be like around, right? So that I can see where I can add value and where I can receive value, and then I can bring that value back to you wonderful people here. All right. So, yep, that is that. I just wanted to get that out there and share that information with you. But let's continue with the show. So what are we going to do tonight, right? We are going to talk about some burnout. You can feel free to call in. The link is in the chat and pinned to the top. The link is pinned to the top of the chat and it's also in the description. We're going to talk about people getting rejected fast. We're going to review a resume, right? A resume that I found that they were asking for review. So we're going to review it. So like I mentioned, burnout and degrees and much, much more. All right. So with that being said, what are we waiting for, right? What are we waiting for? So I wasn't even going to take on this question, right? But I saw it today and I just couldn't resist. You know how sometimes like they say don't touch and you just have to touch, right? So, and I'm going to read this from my phone because I don't even have this on the other areas, right? So this one says, before I even do that, let's do this right? I don't even think I'll need 5 minutes. I'm not even going to need 5 minutes for this, but we're going to do it like this, okay? we are going to get started. Let's get some energy first, though.
Please offer me your energy. I ask of you, please.
By the way, I have a cat that's sleeping like right there. And if he starts making noise and he needs to depart, then I will take a quick break to open the door for him to get the hell out of here, right? But he's not causing any trouble right now, so he will just hang out with us for tonight, all right? So, I'll put the timer up. Why not? Let's put the timer up. So, show timer, and we are going to put the 5 minutes up. And I'm just going to do this within the 5 minutes. I'm not going to waste any time on this. I just really want to read this to you, okay? And break something down to you. So let's start the timer and
Another one.
all right, this one says, I got put into PIP, which stands for Personal Improvement Plan or Performance Improvement Plan. I got put into PIP just because I missed on finding a software defect.
Stupid.
That's not the one I wanted to put. Jesus Christ. Scratch that. What I wanted to do was this one. Because we don't know if he's stupid or not, or he or she's stupid or not. We don't know what happened. So let's find out, right? But that was a total mistake. Maybe it was a Freudian slip. I don't know. But, all right. So this is what it says. Hello, all. So I work for an IT MNC as a software quality engineer. Recently, I got into a discussion with a product manager and HR. The product manager drafted an email saying that I missed out on on finding a defect that a functionality wasn't properly tested by me. I agreed that it was a mistake, but then during the discussion, it was decided that I be put into a performance improvement plan. They also cite all right. So right now, let's stop right here for a second. Right, let's stop right here. Just a bug, a defect, right? Not the product owner's decision to do that, right? So let's continue, right? Seeing a software defect. So let's continue. Okay. All right. So it said, I don't agree with this feedback and don't find them substantial enough and find them exaggerated. I see no serious reason why I'm being put into PIP, mostly because I missed out on finding a software defect. What should I do? Right. So I just wanted to talk about that real quick because you do not get put on a PIP because you missed one software defect. It doesn't work that way, right? You might be missing repetitive amount of software defects. That's a possibility. But the part that stood out to me is and this is the reason why you're being put on a PIP, right? On a performance improvement plan, because you do not take seriously that joining meetings late is unacceptable, right? Delaying in deliverables is unacceptable. So not only as you're missing software defects, you're also delaying on deliverables. At least if you're delaying because you're finding bugs, but you're not doing either, right? And then you're not providing. So pretty much you're being put on a PIP because you are not providing value to your teammates. And they're asking you to improve your performance because you are not adding value to your teammates. That's what the problem is. That's why you're being put on a PIP. Right? And other things as feedback. You're not participating in the refinement sessions. And this is why, friends, especially my QA brothers and sisters, right? This is why you feel undervalued in QA. This is why you feel undervalued in QA. Because if you are not providing, if you're not contributing to the refinements, to the stories and stuff like that, if you're not asking QA related questions like, oh, how do we plan on tests? Do we have this? Oh, did you think of that? Have you considered this risk, right? You're not providing value, what your job is, right? And then you're late on, you're delaying deliverables, and you don't join the meetings on time. You are a bad employee. And that's why it's not because of that one software defect that you missed. You probably missed a bunch, and you're probably late to a bunch of meetings, and you're probably delaying a lot of deliverables because guess what? Time is money. And if we're not delivering, our competitors are, and we are falling behind. And you're not providing value into the meetings, into whether it's the planning, the refinement, whatever it is. So that's why you're on a PIP. And what you should do is, I see somebody says, polish up your resume and start applying for another job. Well, you're going to suck at that job too if you do not actually improve your performance and get it together. Get it together. So how hard is it to show up to meetings on time? Whether you're working remotely or whether you're working from in the office, what are you doing? Why aren't you showing? Like, I don't understand. Why are you late to meetings? For me, 5 minutes early is late. All right? Get there early, prepare. Like, are you even preparing for these meetings? Like, I don't get it. And then you're complaining like, oh, I don't see it substantial. No, it might not be substantial to you, and that's why you're on the PIP. That is why you're on the PIP. I don't care about depending on the severity of the defect. If you made the company lose $1 million because you missed a bug, okay, yeah, you probably should just get fired, right? Well, that might be extreme. But what I'm saying is that it's not because of the software defect that you missed, right? It's because of the way you work and the way that you carry yourself. And you need to fix that. Be to meetings on time, contribute to the meetings, right? Don't just be sitting there worrying about other stuff. Contribute to the meetings. And work doesn't end at 5 o'clock. It ends when the job is done. So you have deliverables, get those taken care of, and then you can go about your day, all right? Come on. Let's get it together, people. Let's get it together.
Stupid.
That one I meant. Anyways, I'm sorry. I when people just dismiss accountability from their wrongdoings, that just annoys me, right? Like, you're whatever. Anyways, what a way to start out the night. Let's get to our official first question. All right. So, where are the questions? Where are my questions? Let's see here. Oh, there you go. There they go. I found my questions. And if anyone wants to call in, the link is in the chat, and it's posted to the top of the chat and is also in the description. And I will get to you as soon as we finish answering a question. So I am going to reset our timer. And let's get to it. The first one.
Another one.
Job applications are rejected quickly. Hi, everyone. I've been actively applying for a senior QA job lately, but almost all of my applications are getting rejected very, very quickly, often within a day or two of submission. I'm starting to wonder if there might be something off with my resume that's causing this. I am based in the UK and have about 10 years of experience. Has anyone experienced something similar? So I would say that I don't know how it works in the UK, but for you to be getting rejected that fast, at least it shows that stuff are moving. Because I know plenty of people here who will apply for a job, and especially if they're applying online, and they don't hear back. Like, I'm gonna say that I'm gonna throw out a number here. Maybe 90% of the jobs that you apply to, you don't hear back, right? And then majority of them are going to be rejections for some reason. Like, who knows, right? Because there's algorithms in play. There's tools that they use to try to filter out those like based on the keywords of the job and the number of experience they're looking for. They're trying to filter out, and then if you do get to, a lot of those rejections come from that, right? And then once the recruiters look at it, they reject, have some personal rejections. Like by personal, I mean like once they look at it, okay, I don't think this is going to be a great fit. And then so probably out of all the resumes that they get, they probably actually reach out to 10% of them, right? But have no fear, because guess what? You do not need every single job to give you an opportunity. You just need one of them to say yes, right? So you asked if there is something wrong with your resume, if something is off. And the answer is most likely there is, because, and we'll be reviewing not your resume from the person who asked this question. We're going to be reviewing a different resume from someone who asks resume feedback. So you can see, so what I will do, I will share with you how, when I'm looking at resumes, how I analyze them, how I break them down, all of that good stuff, right? So with that being said, something is probably off with your resume, right? I mean, at least your resumes are getting through something quickly, because a lot of people, like I said, they just wait until they never hear. And then, so I definitely would recommend that you would, other than signing up for the Patreon and watching the video that I made about how to properly update your resume, things to look for, key things like that. But you need to look at your resume, and you need to see what I always tell people, right? Everything that you list on your resume is it's a marketing point. You need to say, how did I add value in this role? Right? Starting from your objective. How did you add value in the past? What do you know? How did what you know allow you to add value in your past? And how do you plan to use what you know and the value that you added in the past to add value in the future to the company that you're going to, right? Number one. And then number two, every single bullet point that you list under your jobs, so many people, they list it as a task list instead of as this is why I'm awesome. This is the cool things that I did. These are my accomplishments, right? I got that advice about, we're in 2023. Had to be like 8 to 9 years ago. I got that advice from a recruiter at a company. And ever since then, that's what I look to do on my resume, to show the value that I add, right, wherever I go, and add value. Like, that's the thing. You can't show the value that you add if you're not adding value. So make sure that, and I'm sure within 10 years of experience, you had to add some type of value. So write about the cool things that you did, right? And make it sound glamorous to the people who are reading it. Okay? That is the key that you need to use in order to have a successful resume, and you can increase the chance of your resume being seen and accepted, and you get to move on to the next step. Also, reach out to the recruiters who are posting these jobs. That's if it's on LinkedIn. If it's on Glassdoor, you probably can't see that. If it's on, I don't know. I don't trust Indeed at this point. But that's a whole nother topic, right? But yeah, like, I think that people in IT, people in tech, they are super, super smart at QA, at software engineering, but they are terrible. And I say terrible at marketing how awesome that they are, because I can see the awesomeness in a lot of the people that I talk to, a lot of people that I work with and stuff like that. But the question is, and I know you see the awesomeness as well, because the cool thing that you know how to do, but do you know how to market it? And that is the key. You need to know how to market yourself, right? How to market yourself, how to make the right connections, how to get your resume in front of the eyes of the right people. You know, like I was talking about the conversation yesterday, networking versus resumes. At the end of the day, they go hand in hand. They are both important, and you need to use every single thing to your advantage, right? Every single thing to your advantage, right? So that's how I see that. All right. So let's go back over here. And yeah, I want to know your thoughts. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat. What do you think? Do you experience that? Do you think that your resume is not up to par? What do you think? Let me know. All right. Let me know. So let me share this with you, right? Because you have, like, I don't know how this is happening. It's so crazy how the amount of scammers that are out there. There's a scam going around that a personal friend of mine, right, almost fell into, and I was able to see the things that didn't look right and help him to get out of it, like not to be a victim of it, right? And then I heard another person that I'm connected to, they had like the same type of scam tried to be run on them. And being that I got really close to the end with my friend, and we're like, okay, this is tricky. This doesn't make sense, right? And I was able to notify, like I was able to let the other person know, like, yeah, this is what happened. Like, be careful. You're gonna have to stay quiet over there, buddy. If you want to stay, you're gonna have to stay quiet. Anyways, I was, and then like just yesterday, someone that I was talking to on LinkedIn, they had somebody reach out to them asking like, oh, do you have experience in QA logistics and stuff like that? And I said, well, answer honestly, saying what's your experience. Like you've trained for software QA, but a lot of the principles match. Like how to answer these questions, right? But so here's like the first suspect part, right? After she answered the questions honestly as an advisor, they responded back emphatic that, oh, yeah, like you're an excellent person for the job and everything like that, and you're gonna get paid this much and all of this. And then they're like, so pretty much you're hired. Like, but there was no interview. All I did was fill out a questionnaire, right? And then they said, here's the part that I knew was the scam, right? Because this is the same exact part that they tried to get my friend in. And they said, we are going to send you a check, right? So that, or the funds, whatever, so that you can buy your own equipment to work for us. And I'll tell you this, when this is the way they funded my friend, right? They sent him a picture of a check to be cashed, and they like it was like edited the amount that the check was for. I'm like, who's gonna fall for this, right? But the people who are gonna fall for it are those who are desperate for a job, because they give you a job that sounds too good to be true, and they give you some fake funds, and you'll probably get those funds, and you're probably going to be, because they also tell you the website that you need to buy the equipment from. So now you cash a fake check, right? It'll probably go through, and they tell you, oh, you have to buy it within this time frame, right? So you cash a fake check, and now the bank puts the money somewhat into your account, and then you go and you buy this equipment within 2 days. So then the check bounces, or doesn't clear, or you get flagged for fraud. Who knows what, right? But they already have the sale, and you're not gonna get any equipment. That's a scam, right? Watch out for the scammers out there. Shout out to some of the boot camps. But that's the scam. Like that's how they're trying to get you. They're luring you in with a job that's not a real job, because they know you're desperate to start working in whatever field it is that you're looking for. All right. So definitely be careful with that. All right. We got my main man in the chat. What's going on, Don? What's going on? Did you see today's thumbnail today for the video today? By any chance? All about Chaos Camp. So I just wanted to make you guys aware of the scamming that's going out there for those who are desperate to find a job. I do not want you to fall victim to this, because it's going to put you even in a worse position that you might feel that you are now, right? So just keep going, all right? Come hook up with me, and maybe I can help you out. Maybe I can give you some guidance, some direction on what you need to do to be job ready, build your QA portfolio, all of that. All right. And Don says, yeah, mad love to Chaos Camp. And guess what? We're going to continue Chaos Camp tomorrow morning. We're going to continue going through the rock, paper, scissors. I don't know if Don saw the enhancement that I sent up as an issue to the rock, paper, scissors challenge. Little enhancements here and there, all that good stuff. We did merge in our pull requests that Don approved the other day. So shout out to Don, doing amazing things. And we're working on some, you know what? I can talk about this in the next one, right? So let's put how do we? I'll put the 5 minutes up for this, but we are going to get into our resume review. So this, before I pull up the resume, it says, let's do this.
Another one.
So before I pull up the resume, it says, I'm currently looking to enhance my resume as I am seeking a new opportunity. I have applied to numerous, and I say numerous, jobs on LinkedIn without success. Shout out to good guy.
Good guy.
All right. So applied to numerous jobs on LinkedIn. Okay. So let's pull up this resume. And we are going to start the timer as well. We're going to break down this resume as I would break it down. And I'm curious to know in the chat how you would break it down. If you were to see this resume, what would you think? All right, timer's up. And let's switch over to our resume. So this is the resume. And it is G14 classified because everything is even you wouldn't even find this document over here at Mar-a-Lago. Just a little jokey joke. All right, so it starts off with the name, QA engineer, their address. Don't put your address on the resume. It's just letting you know. All right. So summary. And as I read through this, right, I want you to think, does my resume sound something like this? Am I having the same problems as this person? So summary, results oriented. That's how I think this is how every single QA resume starts off, right? Results oriented QA engineer with expertise in automation testing using Cypress, API testing with Postman, and a comprehensive skill set covering performance, mobile, and web testing. Now, the other common QA resume word, proven track record in contributing to high complexity projects, collaborating with cross-functional teams, and ensuring product excellence. ISTQB foundation level certified. Yeah, okay. Anyways, it's hard for me to keep going when I get to this part, right? ISTQB foundation level certified with hands-on experience in CI/CD pipeline, setting up GitHub Actions and GitLab pipelines. So I would say this summary is decent, right? Why is it decent, right? So when I'm reading this, right, because I don't read all the resumes. Like, when I'm saying for all the resumes, I'm talking about from my work perspective, right? When I'm reviewing resumes for work, when I'm reviewing resumes, I do read the whole resume, and I give feedback and stuff like that. I give my initial feedback, like, all right, before I even read this, go ahead and make these updates, and then once you make those updates, then I'm gonna go ahead and read through it and make sure and give you like feedback, comment on it, and all that type of stuff, right? If you are a Patreon member, I'll give you personalized feedback on your resume. If you are at the middle tier, I will definitely one-on-one review your resume with you. And if you are at the top tier, I will help you rewrite your resume. All right. And as well as mock interviews and stuff like that. Right. But what I like about this is mainly this part, right? The hands-on experience with CI/CD pipelines, setting up using GitHub Actions and Git pipelines. That is GitLab pipelines. That is very, very important. Right. Everything else. So I don't really care for the results-oriented part. It's a bunch of fluff. Proven track record, bunch of fluff. And guess what? You might have a proven track record, but I don't know your track record, so it doesn't mean anything to me, right? Why is it proven? Like, who proven by who, right? That's what I want to know. Who proved it, right? So those were like the words. To me personally, they're fluff, right? I don't really care. But by you saying that contributing to highly complex projects, collaborating with cross-functional teams, that ensuring product excellence, that makes it game for me to ask you about it. If I were to interview you, right, you're going to be asked, so tell me about the high complexity projects you worked on, right? And we're going to have a good 5 minutes talking about that, right? Collaborating with cross-functional teams. I want to know how you collaborated. What was your role? What did you do? You're gonna have to get into great details, right? And you're gonna have to talk about like some products you delivered, how all of that went. Cypress, API testing, and Postman. I mean, at this point, I kind of expect people to know API testing if you're going into QA. If you're a QA engineer. And this is good, covering performance, mobile, and web testing. That is good to know. But the problem that I see here, I do not see any value. Like, well, okay, I'll take that back. The CI/CD pipeline, that is value, but I don't see like any. You're not really stating any accomplishments that you've achieved, right? And you're not saying what do you like. Okay, this is cool. What do you plan to do for me, right? What do you plan to do for me? That's what I want to know. All right. So, and by for me, I mean for the company, right? So that's the summary part, right? And right now, I'm giving you like, why am I doing? I'm giving you guys Patreon level information right here, right? But anyways, so that's what I see over here. Now let's move on to the experience, right? So, you forgot to block this out. No longer CIA classified. Okay, so they are from Alexandria, Egypt, which is cool. Working on diverse software products, proven expertise in ensuring product excellence through comprehensive testing and collaboration with cross-functional teams, committed to enhancing user satisfaction and product reliability. So are we seriously just copying and pasting what we have in the summary to the top of this position over here? Is that what we're doing here? Come on, people. Come on. So let's see. Led API testing effort, ensuring the robustness and reliability of software component. Developed and executed comprehensive test suites, identifying potential vulnerabilities and enhancing overall system stability. This is decent, right? But guess what? What I would like to know, right? I would just like to read it right here. How many API tests do you have covered, right? Through your comprehensive test suites, right? And maybe you could throw in so something like we have 500 API tests and it was able to catch 50 defects, right? Something like that, right? So spearhead automation testing initiatives using Cypress, streamlining testing processes and significantly reducing manual effort, leverage automation frameworks to create efficient and repeatable test scripts, resulting in quicker releases without compromising quality. So this is great. This point right here is totally great. Love it. One thing I would look to add is how many automation tests that you did. I like to use statistics and numbers and metrics, right? In these points. Conducted performance testing using tools such as Locus, JMeter, which Don will probably contend with using the Ralph load testing tool instead. But anyways, evaluating software responsiveness, stability, and scalability under various load conditions. So, this is good. This is pretty good. Like I said, I always like to see some numbers and metrics because, especially as QA people, we're very data driven. So I would say try to throw that in. Active participant in daily stand-up meetings, providing updates on testing progress, addressing team queries, and synchronizing efforts across development, QA, and other teams. This facilitated streamlined collaboration, quicker issue resolution. So this is a great point. I like it. Maybe if the person the first person who got put on a PIP would have done this, they probably wouldn't be on the PIP right now. And we continue contributed insights to retrospectives, reflecting on completed sprints and projects, collaboratively identified areas for improvement, and implemented actionable strategies to enhance team efficiency and software quality, which that's pretty good. Skilled in setting up, configuring CI/CD pipelines using GitHub Actions and Git pipelines. GitLab pipelines. So what I would like to see on this point is to give actually share something that you did, right? And what value that it brought to the team by you doing that, right? What were you able to accomplish? Was it to set up that pipeline to run your automated tests, your API tests? What was that value that it brought to the team, and why was it effective? So that's what I want to see on that point. Automated the integration and deployment process to enhance software development efficiency. I would look for this one to say, like, how much more efficient did it make you, right? Did it make you, the team, the company? I would like to see that on this point. Implemented and maintained CI/CD workflows for timely and reliable software releases, right? Same thing as the point before. But guess what? That's the end of the resume. There's not much to it. So maybe, possibly in Egypt, that the ISTQB matters, I guess. I don't know. To me, when you don't know how something works, you require certifications, right? So who knows? But this resume. No, and if you had to rate this resume on a scale of 1 to 5, what would you give it? I would probably give it a 3, I guess. Maybe a 3. I don't know. So don't get me wrong. This person definitely has the knowledge. So knowledge-wise and what they're able to do, it's definitely high up there. However, the way that they market themselves, they have some really good points in there, but overall, they're not hitting it on the mark, right? And that's probably why their resume might not be getting through the scanners, might not be getting through the recruiters. You're not making the person say wow, especially at the very beginning. There is nothing to say wow about over here, because recruiters reading this, they might see, the recruiter might care for the ISTQB, right? But reading hands-on experience with CI/CD pipeline, I'm not really too sure what that means, right? But if you were to say this is I saved my previous company this much money by doing this, and I helped the company make money by transitioning from this to that, or by setting up automation, we were able to save X amount of dollars and catch this many bugs, something like that, showing value, right? So that's what that's why I would go with a low 3, I guess. But yeah. High 2, low 3 on this resume, and there's not any other work experience. Oh shoot, I missed this part. Look at this. So February 2023. So you're still working though. I thought you weren't working anymore. But February 2023, right? So you have less than a year experience, because that's the only thing that you have listed on your resume. So it's gonna be hard without experience. I know so many people who are trying to go from boot camp internship to a full-time QA job, and it's not easy. And you're less than a year experience, although you know all this stuff, it's still going to be hard, because if someone else who knows all this stuff with more than a year of experience, they're going to be in a better position. Same as somebody with 3 to 5 years of experience. What's the experience that they're asking for in the jobs you're applying for, right? So, and Don said, it's a lot, like I said earlier, it's a lot of fluff, right? So yeah, let's go back to our full screen. So I hope that you enjoyed how I break down a resume when I'm reading through it, what I'm looking for, what I'm thinking about, and hopefully that brings some help and insight to you, that it can help you to make your resume better. And once this video gets clipped up, it's going to be a while it gets clipped up, because there's a massive backlog, right? We're still releasing videos from, I think now we're finishing up with September, and now we're on October. So there's a backlog of these videos to come out, right? But hopefully, you can always go back and look for it, but hopefully that you get some good insight on how I look at resumes, and you can move accordingly, right? So that your resume can stand out and it can make it to the finish line. All right. So, all right. I have, and please correct me if I'm saying your name incorrectly, right? Please correct me if I'm saying, and just put the pronunciation in the chat. But we have Sharon Hammonds that says, "Good evening, all. Welcome to the show."
I appreciate you.
I surely do. So, yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat. We're just going through this, answering questions. And I would love to answer your questions as well if you have any in particular. That's what we do here. And that's what Q&A. I can't speak. It's been a very, very long past 5 days working on like all these different projects. And that's why I can't speak. All right. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. I was worried. All right. Thank you so much. Okay. So let's get to our next question. Why don't we? Let me go over here. All right. So before I get to this next question, right? I don't make everything as peaches and roses. I'm going to read the questions. I'm going to give my feedback. I might agree. I might not agree. Who knows, right? But let's get to the question.
Another one.
Language for QA automation in 2024. Okay. I am finally burned out on manual testing enough to get around to automation. Sorry. I'm sorry. I should really read these questions before. I hate to stop it already, but all right, I'll read it. Let me just read it. Let's get through it, all right? I have some experience with automation in Ruby and Java, but all the projects in which I participated already had a ready-made framework, so it was mostly refactoring. Since I'm good at Google and annoying colleagues with questions, didn't have many problems with that. However, I guess that my knowledge is not enough to answer all the tricky interview questions. My dream was to find a company that is ready to grow specialists so I could choose the language specifically for the project, but it's becoming obvious that the market has changed and is full of motivated, ready-made specialists or at least it feels that way, and companies now invest much less in growth. I might be wrong though. So this is my war cry from the heart with the question, what language are you currently studying, or what would you study at the moment and how? I recently received advice in one of the posts below about TAU and it seems pretty cool. I'm also thinking about tests on JS, except Java, which is ultra hard for me, and Python. Since I like Postman and it has an internal framework on JS, I will be glad to any comment and advice. So, there we have it, folks. Why was I frustrated at the beginning? Because why does it take you to get burned out on manual testing to start learning automation? Like, I don't get it. Why are we for me at least, I'm always thinking about growth and getting better and learning more. And that's why I have I'm pretty much doing software explorations every single day, except for Tuesdays, right? Because even though we're doing the coffee and kite in the morning with the coding challenges, that's still like exploring software, figuring things out, pushing your mind further, right? But we have people who just like to go in and follow a script, not do what's best for them to get in the right position for them to win. And then they blame it on finding a bug, missing a bug, right? Missing a defect is why they get put on a PIP. Although they agree that they show up to meetings late all the time, that they don't contribute to sprint ceremonies, right? Whichever meeting it is. And to put the icing on top, right? The cherry on top, they're late to meetings. why don't we do what's best for us, people? Right? So, to answer your question, right? Well, before we answer your question, right? Before we answer your question, right? Before we answer, my dream was to find a company that is ready to grow specialists, right? So the companies that are ready to grow specialists, those were a long time ago when the QA field was young. By young, I mean in its early stages, not young in, I mean, I guess the QA field is young in age, but not the people were necessarily young, right? But when automation started getting popular, right, companies would be transitioning their manual testers into QA, right? But here's the problem, right? And guess what? If, and I say if, you're able to find a manual testing job, because it is not easy, right? And that's why I always recommend all the people who come to me saying, oh, I took this manual testing boot camp and stuff like that. I don't really know if I really want to do automation. I don't really know code. I'm like, well, if you don't want to do automation, right, it's going to be a long, hard road, because guess what? It's already hard for people who do automation to find positions, right? So now you think you're going to just find some manual testing job? There's probably 1 out of 1,000 manual testing job for the amount of people who want to be manual testers, right? So that's why I say you got to learn the manual testing, right? And still practice those principles, because you're going to use it in a job anyways, but you also want to learn how to do automation. Don't get burned out on manual testing before you start learning how to do automation, because at that point, you've already failed, right? Start early, start fast, start writing something. And on this channel, right, from the very beginning, when I started this channel, what did we do? We started like one of the first videos that I did outside of the Selenium wire troubleshooting, right? That was like, I think that might have been the very first one that I did live. But outside of that, what I used to do was one of my very first live streams, I took Java and Python and we automated the same exact site side by side, right? I think it was Uber Eats we automated. We had one side, we had other screen, we had Java, one side of the screen we had Python, and we just went through it through Selenium, right? So you need to start, and I made it the most basic that it would be, and the most basic that it would be to automate. So no page object model, no fancy loops or anything like that, right? Just click, click, click. How to choose the right selector, right? Very important. And we went through that, right? Because I wanted to give you that basic intro to show that, get that early win to show that you can do it too, right? That video might not have the nicest quality, all the lighting and all this nice stuff that we have here, but that video is essential so that you can get experience in 2 languages at the same time. Oh, you get a 2-for-1 special. You know, very, very important. So if we look at over here, right? Companies like they did it. They're not obligated to continue to do it for the rest of their existence, to like, because it costs money. So they said there are enough people who have been trained, so let's hire the ones that are trained. Let's get value immediately. All right. So what languages am I currently studying? I am always studying Java, Python, JavaScript, HTML, CSS. And to add to that, we are going to add now, working on Express, working on Docker. As you can see, I always work, like Docker makes my life amazing. We are learning about Terraform. And you don't have to learn all those things, right? But you need to, like, here's the thing. I don't know where you live. I'm not even sure what TAU stands for, but, and here's the thing, right? Because you said TAU and it seems pretty cool. Stop going after what's cool. Go after what's useful. If you don't take anything from tonight, stop going after what's cool. Go after what is useful. All right? So many times we get, oh, this is cool, this is nice, this is pretty, but it provides absolutely no value, right? Other than some fleeting feeling, right? So to me, what's valuable, Java is valuable. JavaScript is valuable. Python is valuable. Selenium is valuable. Cypress is valuable. Playwright is valuable, right? API testing is valuable. The rest assured library, the request library in Postman, right? You might like Postman, but if you want to get into serious automation where you're integrating the automation tests with your UI tests and doing all types of crazy stuff, you're not going to be sticking to Postman. You're going to be either using one of the JavaScript libraries or Python or Java or whatever, right? Learning about the CI/CD pipeline, learning about Docker, all those things, super, super valuable. And I don't expect you to just take everything on at the same time, but make a plan, research the jobs that you want and see, okay, what is the game plan that I need to do, right? Create a game plan and then attack it, right? And then attack it, all right? So that is my thought on that. All right, let's get to our next one. Guess what? Guess what? And that's why the title of the show is probably Burnout, because the next one is also talking about burnout. So let's get to the burnout. Let me know in the chat. Are you burned out? Have you been burned out in the past? What drives you to keep going, right? How do you deal with the burnout? Right? Let's get to it.
Another one.
Dealing with burnout and looking for a suggested change. I think I have finally hit full, not just partial burnout, but full burnout. The type that makes you call out of work, the kind that vacation doesn't fix, the kind that makes you want to just not come back to work. It's not fully related to work, but my job is overwhelming and it isn't helping. Sometimes it's my boss's tendency to find flaws in everything. I've accepted that it's just the nature of the job and that even I will stop being able to see the beauty and live in a world of flaws and risks one day. I barely have time to feel proficient in one task before getting buried in 5 more. I'm getting conflicting instructions like fail fast and often, followed by I'm concerned about your recent mistakes. Today, I had to abruptly end a call because I was suddenly in tears. It's time for a change, and maybe not software testing. I'm considering looking into technical writing since I do that all day anyways. But before I do that, I'm exploring what else I can do with software testing skills. I'm great at databases, but I don't have any automation experience right now. I am rubbish at coding, and I would rather not pursue a role that relies on that skill set. Has anyone moved from software testing into a different type of role where they could still use some of their QA skills and QA mindset? I'd love to hear some suggestions that might help me love my career again. Well, funny that you may ask. Actually, one of my bestest friends went from QA into technical writing. But guess what? Just because they went into QA, just because you write bugs and some type of documentation all day long, right? Which you shouldn't be doing that all day as a QA engineer. But just because you might feel that you do that all day long, right? That doesn't mean that that's what technical writers do. Just giving himself a shower over here. My goodness. Does he not know we have a show going on right now? Hello? Hello? Mister? Can you not do that right now? Hello? Yes, I'm talking to you. All right, that's what I'm talking about. Gotta put some order around here. I almost have to call Sharon to come take care of this cat for me. You know, law enforcement in the building. Shout out to our law enforcement professionals. Right? Almost have to get you arrested over there. Okay, sorry about that. Before we were rudely interrupted by this cat over here. No respect. All right, let's keep going. So we're talking about burnout from the job is just too much, right? Because you are starting to say,
I hate it here. I want to go home.
that sucks. So yeah, so we're talking about technical writing, right? So so we're talking about technical writing, right? It's not. I think people have what part of the problem in tech is that you think you know what everybody else does, right? And you don't. You don't really know all the things that the Scrum Masters do. You don't really know all the things that the product owners do or the product managers do. You don't really know all the things that the project managers do. You don't really know all the things that the software engineers do. You only have a small glimpse into their world, right? So, and I would say that you are even far more removed from the technical writers. The technical writers are not writing defects. They're not writing the documentation mainly for internal people, right? They are writing it for, a lot of times the technical writers, they might write it internal documentation, but they're also writing like client facing documentation on like the manual, how to use stuff, things like that, right? They're translating the technical aspect, and that's why they'll be interviewing the QA people, the software engineers and stuff like that to find out how the software works, all the ins and outs of it, so they can make it in a way that is understandable for the general public to consume, right? So just because you write documentation all day long does not mean that you are qualified to become a technical writer. What I would say, because when my friend was transitioning to, looking into transitioning from QA, because she used to do QA, and now she's doing technical writing, I said, hey, take a course on it so you can get more familiar with it and that you can be more qualified for the position. Luckily for her, she didn't transition to it like applying for an outside job. She was able to transition from within her company, which is what I always recommended people to do, right? Get your foot in the door, right? Try to transition from within the company instead of going outside of the company and without any experience, because build experience where you are at, right? So whatever you're able to do, like sometimes I see a lot of like nurses, for instance, they want to transition to another role, right? So now they might have went to a boot camp or something like that, and now they're applying, and they're not really getting any feedback, right? Which, if you're a nurse and you're applying for nursing, like I'm sure you can get hired pretty easily for the most part, right? But when you're going to tech, where are your credentials? You know, you don't really have much to put on your resume. So what I would say is, what I normally recommend is like, look within, like, let's say you work for a hospital. Let's stick with the nurse example, right? Let's say you work for a hospital, right? Check if they have an IT department, right? Maybe they have, the hospital has to have a website that needs QA. See if you can speak to HR or whoever, find out who the QA is or the web designers are or whatever. And like, maybe you can still continue to do your job, right? Still do your job, but see if you can like get some more information, be able to do some volunteering or internship or whatever with them, so that you can start. Because you tell them like, hey, I'm interested in doing this IT stuff, and I was wondering if I can like see what you guys do and stuff like that, maybe help out and stuff like that, right? The same thing, Sharon, goes for law enforcement, where look within your like, because it's going to be really, really hard when you try to leave a particular company to go to into a totally new field. Is it impossible? It's not. Nothing is impossible, but it's harder, right? But if you can transition from within where you're at, right, to get your foot in the door and start building that experience, now it becomes much easier when you are ready to make the shift to another company, right? And you might even like it at what you're at work. Like you might even like it where you're at when you transition from within and stay there, and who knows, right? So that's typically the advice. But just like trying to transition out of a company, like I can definitely agree with transitioning out of a role, but transitioning out of a company into a new role where you don't have much experience, that becomes a lot harder. And that's what the person was talking about, where companies used to help you like with your development and transition. They still do, but it's not going to be a company that's going to hire you brand new. It's usually going to be a company who knows you already, and they're going to help you get to, because every company that I've been to, they help you with your development, but you have to have some type of baseline, right? They're not going to hire some brand spanking new person and say, okay, we're going to give you all the education that you need. You don't need to know anything, right? Which we spoke about that before, right? But you don't need to know anything. We're going to give you all the education. It doesn't work that way. You have to do for yourself first, and then they will meet you where you're at. But if you're nowhere, then they're not going to meet you nowhere, right? You have to like put in a good chunk of it, and then they say, okay, we can help you with this, we can help you with that. Once, and it's always easier to do from within. All right. So that is my response to that. I don't want to see you dealing with burnout. I do not want to hear you say,
I'm in a bind, Nate.
I don't even know Nate. All right. So with that being said, all right, let's reset. Okay. So Sharon says, leave the cat alone. I can't hear him, but I can. And I like my OCD mixed with my ADHD and all those little acronym number letters. See, look at that. No. All right. But it's so hard to concentrate when he's just over here. Right. So anyways, what Sharon asked, what are your thoughts on gov tech industry? I think it's based on the person, to be honest with you, right? Because a lot of those government tech companies, they will require some type of security clearance. And my sister-in-law, she now he's snoring. Now he's snoring. Jesus Christ. Anyways, like I was talking to her the other day because she is former military and with like clearances, and a lot of the companies, they don't sponsor those clearances for you. So that's why a lot of those companies, they'll try to hire people with clearances. So if you have clearances, then that puts you in a great position. It actually puts you in a position above a lot of people, because I've seen, especially in the DMV area, I'm not sure where you're from, but I've seen in the DMV area when I'm like looking for different, just researching jobs for like people, for areas that people are in. And they like pretty much all the jobs in the DMV area, right? They're like security clearance. Like they have, I think secret, I don't even know the names of them, but they have different security clearances that they kind of, require people applying for the job to have, because they said we're not going to sponsor you to get it, right? So I think it's good. And government contracts, they do pay, they pay pretty good. So, and by government contract, I mean like the company that is contracting with the government, they do pay pretty good, so you can get a pretty good salary as well. The other thing that I would say is they do tend to require the ISTQB certification because a lot of times like the government requires it because they don't know any better. So those are the different things. If you are in the Discord, I will connect you with someone who works on GovTech companies, and they can probably answer some additional questions for you. But yeah, but like it can be good. It can also be because I have another friend actually who works for a company that's contracted by the government for some flight software type stuff, right? And it can be pretty demanding as well, you know. But I mean, I don't think there's anything as demanding as being in law enforcement. So I guess that point becomes mute about the demanding part. But because I'd rather be like demanding in, I personally would rather be being demanded in tech and where I'm like working behind my computer instead of being out there fighting crime on the street, right? So yeah. And Don makes a very good point, right? The government tech stack is 2005 and slow AF. That is a good point. I didn't even think about that, but that is totally a good point. Like they tend to use outdated software, as you can probably see in the different places that, like when you go to City Hall, you know, a lot of City Halls, you know, you probably have to open the door yourself. Who knows, right? Anyway, so, you know, there's pros and cons to it all. I would say, if you are new to the field and you have security clearances, I would use that to my advantage to get experience, right? Regardless of their tech stack, whether it's, you know, slow, whatever. The most important thing that I always advise everyone to do is find a way to get experience, because that's what everybody's asking for. So you go in there, you get 2 to 3 years of experience, and from there you can see where you go from there. See how much you get paid. See where you want to be, right? And then if you want to like go to more in the private sector with using some new cool tools, you learn those tools while you're working that job, getting experience, and then you go ahead and you transition to whatever it is that you want to do, right? So everything that you do, use it to your advantage, right? For someone like me, someone like Don, we probably would kill ourselves if we had to use 2005 tech stack, right? Although Don did tell me the other day I was using software from 1982, but whatever, Don, whatever. All right. I need a boo sound. But I would say for someone who's looking to get into the field, whatever you can get, go ahead and take it and take it from there. All right. So awesome. Great question. You see, that's what I love. People who are using the resources that they have, right? So shout out to you. All right. And apparently Sharon loves cats because she is hoping I could be wrong. Sorry if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But defending the cat like there is no tomorrow. Okay. So yeah. All right. And you are very, very welcome. So let's get to our next question. What time? Oh my God, it's already 9:00 and I am only 4 questions in. All right, let's get to the next one, all right?
Another one.
How important is a degree? Hello, fellow QA. So I'm an SDET, Software Development Engineer in Test, Level 2. At a medium-sized company. I've been here just over 2 years. The company is amazing and things seem to be going well. However, all the layoff posts got me thinking if I should try and get my BS in computer science, Bachelor's of Science in computer science, just in case something goes wrong. This is my first real tech job and I have no college degree whatsoever. I went to a coding bootcamp in 2020 and started working as a software engineer intern for a startup, which gave me the coding experience to land this job, which is very coding heavy. I'm sure it is at a level 2. I've heard a lot of software engineers getting jobs without a degree. For example, on my team, only 1 out of the 5 have a degree, 20%, in computer science. However, it seems like most software development engineers and tests in my company have a computer science degree, which is something I thought would be the opposite before joining. I know nothing can be really future-proof, can really future-proof you, but how much do you think someone with 2 years of SDET experience like me can rely just on their experience without a degree in today's market? That is a remarkable question, and we are going to start up our timer. So, I always believe that you need to put yourself in the very, very best position to win. Being that you actually work for a company and you're at a level 2 as that, which is quite a feat, all right? And you were able to do that without a computer science degree. Like, you are pretty much the representation of the intro video that I have, right? You made it into the field without a computer science degree, right? You did the boot camp and everything, and it's working out well for you. So the first thing is stop. When things are going well for you, right? I always say continue to learn, continue to level up and stuff like that. But don't put yourself in a paranoid state by what other people are doing, their situation, stuff like that. Because a lot of times the things that are happening is because people are not properly planning, preparing, putting themselves in a learning position to continuously level up and win, right? So by you seeing that all these people say, "Oh my God, this is happening. I can't find a job here," blah 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 blah, right? You're reading into something into yourself that is not the case, right? Whenever I read this stuff, I'm like, okay, you know what that means? Like, when I see how hard it is for people to either find a job or like they're not doing what they're supposed to do, that makes me want to wake up even earlier and grind, right? I have a playlist on my Google Music playlist. It's called Wake Up and Grind. Because we got to get to work, right? And I see these people who are like whining and complaining, and I'm like, you know what? While you wake up at 10 o'clock whining and complaining, I'm waking up at 4, and I'm waking up and grinding, and I am studying. I am working on challenges. I am doing like additional building additional software, looking into AWS, testing stuff, all that type of stuff, right? Because I want to continue to grow. I want to continue to get better, right? People always talk about vacation. Well, when I wake up early and I'm doing this type of stuff to get better, that is my vacation, all right? Always getting better, 1% better every single day. And if you're lucky, maybe you can do 2%, right? So with that being said, I would say that how important is a degree, right? Well, you've made it this far without it, and I'm pretty sure if something was to happen to you, you could find something else, right? But the question is, going right back to the beginning, what puts you in the best position to win? Is it easier for you to find what's going to be easier? For you to find a job where it says requirements, computer science degree, or equivalent experience, right? So that's what the job title says, right? Is it easier for you to get that with a computer science degree and with experience, or with just the experience, right? And with 2 years of experience, that's not that much, right? If I'm hoping that nothing does happen to you, of course, right? But if it's only 2 years of experience, right? It's not that much. So you want to build more experience, do challenges, chaos camp, like mentioned, all that type of stuff, right? But you have to play the game wisely, right? Check with the benefits of your company, because although it's not necessary to have a computer science degree, it definitely helps, right? Because now you can start going up into different rooms that you might not be able to get into right now without it, right? Like, I would love to go back and do like my computer science degree, and it would be so much easier for me now with all the information that I know if when I was younger, I actually understood this stuff better, if I had someone to help me understand it, then I would have been in a much better position, like to go and do computer science or whatever in computers, right? But not knowing what it was and all that type of stuff didn't really work out. Cool. But we're here. But now I can crush it. I don't have that time capacity to do it, right? And what would I do? I'd go straight to community college. I go straight to the community college down the street and just do the courses, wing it. Not wing it, but I'll do the courses and I already know all the stuff, right? It would be easy for me, but time restraints, stuff like that, right? But I'd say, see if your company offers like tuition reimbursement, use it and continue to learn different things, learn different languages, all that type of stuff, right? Go get certified. But because here's the thing, right? They don't teach you software, they don't teach you software testing in college. I don't think I've ever seen a course, like the most you might get to is some unit testing, right? But get the degree. Because it's if they will help you get it, then why not? Right? Use that to level up. Get into a better position. Play the game. Attack. Strategize. Jocko Willink. Prioritize and execute. All right. So that is that. All right. Let's get to our next one. Get some water first. Reset our clock. And all right.
Another one.
Newbie QA. How do you deal with receiving tickets with little or no information? No information in the ticket? What do you do? Kind of curious on what you guys do. Sometimes I'll receive a ticket with little or no information to go off on, and sometimes it's impossible to get a hold of a developer. Actually, most of the times. Do you send it back to their lane and just write on the ticket you need more information? Thanks. Need some advice. All right, so this is a great question, right? But there is a fundamental flaw to that question. What is that fundamental flaw? Well, what tickets are you getting that have no information? How is it possible, unless you're doing waterfall, God forbid, Jesus Christ. But if you're in an agile environment, right? There's retrospective, there's planning, there's refinement, there's stand-up. I just can't, am I missing any meeting? Oh, sprint review, right? So there's like five meetings, right? That you should be asking questions. You should be reviewing the stories. You should be assessing the risks. So what questions are you getting that have no information? Because by the time the ticket or the story comes to you for testing, you should be ultimately familiar with it, right? You should be writing your test plans early. Why aren't you writing your test plans early? And when you're writing the test plans early, then you can collaborate with the developer saying, this is what I'm looking to test. And I've told you this information before, right? But this is what I'm looking to test. This is how I'm going to approach it. These are the risks that I see. What do you think about that? And they say, oh, I didn't think about this situation right here. So I'm going to make sure I'm aware of that when I'm writing the code. And then at the same time, they can say, oh, did you consider this scenario? Like, oh, wow, I didn't think about that either. And now you can add that to your test plan so you can have a very good guide on what you're going to test, right? But so I think that's the first thing. Like, I could answer what, like, should you send it back or whatever, right? Which, I mean, I guess, but you are not addressing the root causes. There's the lack of communication that's happening in the first place, that you're just in a position to be able to receive tickets that do not have any information, because you should be doing what my main guy over here likes to call, Don likes to call, recon, right? And you are seeing, okay, what's going on? Like, you are planning ahead of time. You shouldn't be hit new with a ticket, like not knowing anything about it all of a sudden, right? That is not how, that's how testing used to be back in the days. We don't do that anymore. That time is up. All right? Because
You either win with us or you watch us win.
yep, like we don't do that anymore, right? And if that's what you're doing, that's why you're gonna end up in the situation. The developers not being available. Maybe you guys are in different locations. I don't know, but there should be some type of stand-up, some type of meeting that's happening, or God forbid, you schedule a meeting with them, right? You put some time on their calendar saying, hey, we need to talk about this, and then in your retros you say, I keep on getting tickets that don't have any information in it, and I don't know what to do, right? So now you guys can talk about that, and they can make a concerted effort to provide you more information, right? But you should also do a concerted effort to talk about these things early, to understand the tickets early, to start writing your test plans early, because shifting left, the earlier that you start, the better results you're going to get, right? Stop waiting. You got to be proactive. You can't just sit around and wait for something to happen to you, for the developers to come and look for you, right? That's not going to happen because they have things to do too. Why aren't you reaching out to the developers? You're the one, because apparently they have no problem sending you tickets that have no information in it, right? But it's a problem for you. So you have to take the initiative to reach out and say, hey, can we set up this meeting? We need to set up some processes that I can have the information that I need so I can be able to properly test so we can go to market faster. Give them a reason on why you're having this meeting, right? Because if you just put a meeting thing, I don't have enough information, they're like, whatever, I'm not going to do with you. But if you can show how this process is impacting the work that you're doing, they're going to be more inclined to join and, help you out. All right. So please, meet with them, participate in all of the sprint ceremonies to show, add value and all that good stuff. All right. So shout out to that question. All right. So let's take a quick break, right? So if you are enjoying the show, right, answering all these questions, dealing with this crazy cat who is passed out again, but had to go and clean themselves for a minute while we are live. If you're enjoying the lights back there, right? It's very beautiful. Like I'm impressed by the lights, right? Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you can know every single time that we go live. Like the video, share the video with everyone, post it to all over your social medias. Share with people how much you're learning over here, right? Do all of that. Check out the Patreon at www.techcoachralph.dev. Sign up for free, see everything that's going on in there. Have some fun with me. Here we work, but we also have fun while working, all right? So shout out to that. All right, let me get a sip of water, and then we will go to our next question. Timer up. Okay. So the next question is
Another one.
Are full stack developers becoming obsolete because of AI? I'm a 31-year-old male with a background in digital marketing. Since the beginning of the year, I've been learning to build software, initially with some coding and mostly through a no-code platform called Bubble.io to build my own startup. I'm doing this full time. Last week, I realized that despite the advantages a no-code platform provides, your skill set becomes heavily tied to the platform's ecosystem and future. You can't monetize your skill level outside of their ecosystem if you wanted to, which is something I'm not willing to do. What aren't you willing to do? Even though a lot of concepts still carry over in terms of development, transition from a no-code platform to coding is not easy. It is a hard transition. Okay, yeah, it's supposed to be, all right. It's not like transitioning from one programming language to another like JavaScript to Python. For that reason, I decided to pivot fully into coding from scratch. The goal is to build my own full stack projects, front end and back end. The good news is that I love coding and problem solving. You just said you didn't. I don't know, whatever. Especially with Chat GPT. Shout out to Chat GPT making our lives easier out here. Especially with Chat GPT now becoming part of my everyday life. Learning and fixing bugs have become oh so much easier. However, I'm a little worried about the future. Specifically, how AI is changing software development. I'm wondering whether learning to code is still the best move for the future. While I can't predict the future, but ChatGPT can, will coding still be a good backup plan if I don't succeed in the next 5 to 10 years with my project? That is what the people want to know. I researched this a lot and I came across 2 comments from notable names in the tech industry today. Sam Altman, the founder of OpenAI, who was fired by OpenAI and then hired a few days later, discussed learning to code and how it might be an obsolete advice now in an interview on this YouTube video at 121. We're not going to watch the YouTube video. But the other comment is from Amaj Masad, founder of Replit, suggests that the average full stack developer might become obsolete because of AI in the future, while product developers, what I'm doing now, I guess, will remain essential because there are deeper layers involved in pure coding, like understanding market needs and productizing software. And he's linked to the article. Okay. Oh, this keep going. Being a software newbie, I can see validity in both arguments. What's your perspective on if learning to code is still worth it with how AI is changing our world? Okay, great question. I love this question, right? And you know what? Let's get some insight from Don at the very beginning because AI is just as wrong as humans. That is facts. Because AI just uses it answers the based off the prompts that you put in, right? So with that being said, here's my perspective on this, right? Will there be some stuff that become obsolete with AI? Yes. But the thing is, to me, you always have to position yourself to, I guess we go back to the idea of the best position to win, right? What are the market trends? Where are things shifting? AI is powered off of code. AI didn't create itself, right? So I'm pretty sure, right, that Sam Altman has a bunch of software developers and software engineers working for OpenAI, right? Right? Am I wrong on that? I am pretty sure that OpenAI has a bunch of software developers working for them. AI doesn't take care of everything, right? Like me and Don, for instance, we use AI for a lot of stuff that we're working on, right? But we use AI to make things easier. The kid is singing outside. The kid is singing. What is he singing? He's singing ABCs. That's pretty cool. You can't hear it, but because of the mic canceling, but it's pretty cool. Anyways, so so let's see what Don says. Don says AI will need a handler, aka prompt engineer. They will need to be multidisciplined to be able to go guide the AI. Will teams get smaller? Yes, exactly. And that's the point that I'm saying, right? We need to adapt, right? And that's why as soon as I heard about Amazon Q last week, I jumped on trying to figure it out, which we're going to continue to do, right? Like if I figure it out over the weekend, I might go live on Saturday and continue playing around with it, right? And maybe I won't wait all the way till next Thursday, right? But we need to like, we are software engineers. We are like, guess what, right? QA or AI stuff still needs testing. We still need to test it. Are we going to have AI bot to write the code and an AI bot to test the code, right? Because the AI developer can't test his own code because that is not professional, right? So, but like we're still building code, we're still building software. AI is just software, right? It's software that goes out and it gathers all of the information that's fed to it, that's made available, right? And then that's brought back to one second. All right, back. Sorry. Ugh, I can't take noise when I'm trying to concentrate. All right. So, with that being said, start the clock again. Okay. So, what happens is it's just code at the end of the day, right? And it's like able to gather in a large database to be able to do all the stuff, like to be able to give you these answers and create these it's just stuff that's being fed, like Don said, right? Will teams get smaller? Yes, they're going to get more efficient. But to me, what AI allows you to do as well is to be more productive. It allows you to do more. So for instance, right, you can have it can be an assistant to many companies. So like other companies, like companies can be starting to do more and more stuff. It's built to help with code reviews, to like, because to me, even if AI is doing some type of like review and stuff like that, right? I still want to get actual other engineers' eyes on it as well to get their feedback, because while it can like catch certain things, I still want to see the strategy of a human being, right? And that's how I see it. I think that going into software development, software engineering, all that stuff, it's still very valuable. Right? Going into cybersecurity is still very valuable because guess what? Scammers be scamming. Right? Scammers be scamming. So you're still going to need cybersecurity, right? Because the scammers they're just waiting for. When I see the first AI scam come out, which probably is happening already, right? You know what? I'm going to search for some AI scam, right? But you just got to be ready. You always have to be ready. And I say, just like as a software developer, software engineer, start learning about AI. What can you do with AI, right? Don and I doing tons of stuff with AI. And things that can help you on your job search and stuff like that. But for AI to be replacing all these people and stuff like that, I still don't have my flying cars. I still do not have my flying cars. So that was supposed to be in 2000. That came and went, and I don't have it yet. So that's how I feel about it. All right. All right. Let's see where we're at. Reset. Okay. It's going to get a little darker real quick, right? So, with that being said, let's get to the next question. Water first. Gotta stay hydrated. Did anyone? Let's start. Ready? Let's do it.
Another one.
Did anyone develop paranoia or mental issues doing QA work? Now that's scary. I've been in my role for 2 years, but it's taking a toll on my brain because if things go well, it's oh God, all right. This is gonna be a difficult one to get through. If things go well, it's forgotten. It's like it's forgotten I exist. So when things are working, no one pays attention to you, right? But if something goes wrong, I get reprimanded for not catching it. It's also affecting my sleep because I'm so afraid that I missed a bug that I'm kept awake. How do you deal with this? And they had an edit saying, "Thank you so much for all the responses, teaching me what a healthy QA environment would be more like. I like QA work and I want to believe that my company is misguided about QA. I talk with my colleagues soon about managing their expectations and improvements in process." All right. So, number one, I have not developed paranoia or mental issues doing QA. I might have developed it from other things, but not from doing QA. But I would say that if you are feeling that way, what I would say why? Like, what's going on that, because you've been there for 2 years, and I think you need to get a better understanding of the team, right? I'm not sure where, Jesus Christ. I'm not sure like where you are from. Because I know like some areas that like outside of the United States where the mindset and the mentality on how QA is ran and conducted is very, very rigid, right? So I would definitely say like it might be the people that you're working with. It might definitely be the company or the type of people or the culture that you're coming from, where no one, like, you don't get acknowledged for the things that you do well, but you get like really condemned for the things that you do wrong. But guess what I'd say if you don't get acknowledged for the work that you do, then I would certainly say that go ahead and acknowledge yourself and make sure you talk about the amazing things that you do, because if they're not going to recognize you, recognize yourself, right? And remind them that you do good work, that you know what you're doing, right? And I would say, like, there are bugs that are going to happen, right? Bugs are inevitable. We just try to mitigate and stop as much as possible. But bugs will eventually make it into production. I had like the past 2 weeks, we had a bunch of bugs that like we were battling, right? So I would say that you can't So that like you can't let that keep you up because it's gonna mess with you, right? Like you need to get your sleep. I kind of know, and this is I know the feeling like because when you have things to do, it's not for me. It's not based on if I miss the bug. It's just me like when I have things to do, I get the sleep that I need, and once my eyes are up, I'm ready to go. Right, I'm ready to go. So like I was mentioning yesterday, because I knew that I was going up on Tech Niche's Tips channel, but I also didn't want to miss on my commitments, right? Because you got to take care of home first, and once you take care of home, then you can take care of other people. So I'm like, let me go and do my show an hour early, and we had a great time reviewing some news articles and working through our Chaos Camp boot camp. And once that was done, we jumped over there. We had a great conversation about resumes. So you have to take care of yourself, right? You can't let a if there's a bug keep you up at night, because guess what? If you're up in the middle of the night, you're not working, and if there's a bug, what can you do about it, right? So go to sleep, and when you go to work, you worry about a bug being there now, and you're ready to react, right? Also, are you continuing to build up your skills, right? Are you doing coding challenges at Chaos Camp? Like, I have been greatly benefited and blessed by doing those challenges, right? Because guess what? Before that, I never really knew how to add a health check page. But we did that the other day, and now it's merged into the main branch, right? Like when I saw Stephanie's idea of how she tested the randoms, I'm like, oh, this is pretty impressive, right? But being able to add and contribute to a software, whether it's just a challenge, right? I was talking to Don today because they have the advent of code happening right now that a lot of which I thought about participating in it, but I just had too much to do that I just didn't have the capacity to do it. But I was telling Don, like, hey, Don, we should use Chaos Camp to do like something like an advent of code for Chaos for QA, right? Giving QA people a challenge to accomplish. You know, we might have to like make them a little simpler because they're pretty long right now, but maybe something like a daily challenge, right? And I think that will help ease, like, because for me, as you get more comfortable with a software or product, then like working in QA or engineering and stuff like that, it relieves the pressure on you, right? There's no need for all that pressure. And I think it's bad that you would be up at night at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, wondering like, oh my God, did I miss a bug? Did I miss a bug? Right? I'll say if you think you might have missed a bug and you know what it might be, wake up, go check it. And if it's fine, then you go back and you get your sleep. But unless you're waking up to do something productive, but it's just laying in bed, being worried about whether you missed the bug or not is not going to be. You're going to mess with yourself, right? So, and that's how you're probably developing the paranoia and the mental issues. But leave work at work when the job is done, right? So don't like, but then at the same time, you need to go out in there and do other stuff to make you get better, so you can perform better when you're in the game, which is work, right? When we're studying here, when we're on this channel, we're doing software exploration. That's practice. We're trying new things. We're learning new things. We're putting in the work, right? Because when we get into the game at work, we are working and we're playing the game to win. All right. So that would be that'd be my advice on that. Like you can't let it keep you like that, because that's gonna mess with you. Use everything to your advantage. All right. So I think we're just about at our last question. Yep, we're one more left for tonight. But before we get into that question, what do you guys think? So I spoke about it earlier today. Resumes, networking, they go hand in hand. Like, what is your plan of attack, right? What is your plan of attack for landing the job that you want? Are you going to try to do it from within the organization, conquer from within? Are you going to try to focus heavily on networking? Are you going to focus heavily on your resume? Are you going to try to combine the two? Right? You know what you think. All right. But Get some water before we get into our very, very last question of the night, and then we can wrap it up because I got things to do. All right. Let me put the 5-minute up. And let's go to our last question of the night.
Another one.
Seeking advice on a career move amidst uncertainty in current role. I'm at a career crossroads. See you at the crossroads so you won't be lonely. I'm at a career crossroads and could really use some perspective. I currently serve as the lead QA in my company, but my role is somewhat constrained. It starts so good and then it ends so bad. Oh my goodness. I lack authority over other QAs and I am unable to make key departmental decisions. What adds to the complexity is the absence of a defined leader for our department, a role I had hoped to step into when I joined 13 months ago. During my time here, the company, which is smaller and less organized, has undergone 2 reorganizations. I am now potentially moving to a larger, more structured company, offering me a role as senior software development engineer in test. Shout out to you. You are doing the thing. All right. This position involves setting up QA processes for a new team, and it comes with better benefits. Shout out to the better benefits, while maintaining the same salary as my current job. Well, that doesn't sound too appealing. I mean, it does, but why is it the same salary as your current job? Why isn't it a boost? Anyway, it's not the question. Here's where I'm struggling. Here is where they are struggling. While I feel this move is a step up for me professionally, I can't shake off a sense of guilt. Yes, they said guilt. About leaving my current team in a lurch, from Adam's family, a lurch, especially given the lack of decisive action regarding our QA department. At the same time, I feel somewhat let down by the unfulfilled promises and the ongoing indecisiveness in my current role. How should I approach the conversation with my current employer if I decide to accept a new offer? I want to ensure I handle this as professionally as possible, but the mixed feelings I have about leaving are complicating things. Any advice on navigating the situation would be greatly appreciated. And guess what? I am so happy to give advice on this, right? So let's go a little bit backwards, right? So, mixed feelings about leaving a company, right? I think it is more fear than care, right? You have more fear of the unknown about leaving and going to a new role than you do that you care about the whatever about the company, right? Leaving them in a lurch, right? Because guess what? If they had to cut staff and stuff like that, and you were it was either you or the person who makes the decision, then you would be on the cutting block, all right? So I don't think that you are seeing it in the right way, right? So how would you approach the conversation with your current employer if you decide to leave, right? This is how I did it. I sent my my then boss a message on whatever messaging application we were using, right? And I said, I need to talk to you. Do you have a second? Yes, of course I have a second. Okay. That's not how her voice sounded, but that's pretty much how it went. And I took my letter. I printed it out at the company, believe it or not. And I went to her office and she started just rambling about different stuff that's happening in the department and stuff like that. And I just let her ramble. And then I said, I have something to tell you. I'm putting in my letter of resignation, and it'll be in 2 weeks. And then just the facial expression just totally changed. But the same position that you're in right now, when about like being indecisive and stuff like that, going into a better opportunity, because funny enough, that was at the same time that Dwayne Wade left Miami, and me being from Miami and a fan of the team at the time, at least, I was like, Dwayne Wade's been in Miami for the beginning of his career. And I'm like, I've been at this company for such a long time. But guess what? These companies ain't loyal. Right? Because at the end of the day, they might like you a lot and they'll do the best thing that they can do the best that they can to try to keep you. But at the end of the day, if you gotta go, you gotta go. Right? And if they have to cut you, they'll cut you. Right? So now you feeling guilty because you need to move on with your life and do something better. No, you go out, you have to do what's better for you, for your future, for your income, for your stability, for your learning, for all of that good stuff, right? You got to do what's best for you. So that's how I'm going to approach the conversation, right? And let's say, hey, I need to talk to you. I'm resigning. Here's my letter, blah, blah, blah. This is my last day. And you keep it moving from there, right? Now, if they really like you, they're going to try to keep you and all that good stuff, right? So, which that's his own challenge that I'm not going to get into. But leaving your team in a lurch. You're not leaving your team in a lurch because they put themselves in a lurch by not having the proper processes, being indecisive and stuff like that, right? It is not on you. You like if you've done your best and you've done your best, even if you didn't do your best, but you get a better opportunity, then you've got to go, right? But make sure that where you're going to, that you're going to enjoy it. It sounds like a pretty good thing, right? So, it sounds good to me. But you're totally right about the part about feeling let down by unfulfilled promises and ongoing indecisiveness in your current role. They let you down, right? Because from what I can see you reading here, you're doing what you can do. And we're going to go back to this. We're going to go back to this again, right? What I said at the beginning, right? Go where you are appreciated, which sounds like it's the larger, more structured company offering you a role as a senior SDET, right? Not where you are tolerated, where it is your current role, right? Who they have unfulfilled promises. They make promises that they don't keep. They're less organized, and they've gone through 2 reorganizations, which the third one might be you anyways, right? So I would say to play your cards right. Do what's in your best interest, right? If it's in your best interest to stay where you're at, great. But from what I can see, you're getting more responsibility, better benefits. Sadly, I don't know why maintaining your same salary. Maybe the benefits compensate for that. But the point is, the move is a step up for you professionally. Right? And guess what? Sometimes you have to leave people back, right? You're not going to bring them all with you. Okay? So that's my thought on this topic, right? Like, if you got to go, you got to go. No one is meant to be somewhere forever, right? So if you got to go, you go and you do what you got to do and you go out there and you level up and you win, all right? The key is to win, right? So that is our question. Those are our questions for tonight. Let me know what you thought. Did you find them informative? Did you find them helpful? Did you have fun, right? I want to know if you had fun, all right? So let me get the timer off over here. And let me wrap it up. So thank you for being here. I definitely appreciate you. Sharon, I'm going to give you a special.
I appreciate you
for joining us. And you asked an amazing question about the Gov Tech. And we had Don here who was able to contribute to the answers as well. Don is always rocking with me. We got tons of work to do. So I do appreciate you all. If you have not done so yet and you enjoyed what you watched, maybe you didn't enjoy it. Who cares? Subscribe anyways, right? But subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can know every single time that we go live, every single time we watch a new video, we drop a new video, all of that good stuff. And, check out the Patreon, www.techcoachralph.dev. You can sign up for free, see what we have in there. And if you want to get some one-on-one coaching, whatever, there's something for everybody, right? So go ahead and check that out. We can go from there. But we're at the end of the night, right? Tomorrow morning, I'm going to be 7:15 a.m. We are going to be doing our coffee and kata, coding, and then we have the software explorations where we have the Amazon Q chatbot for business overview coming out, all that good stuff. And then I'll be live again Thursday night. We're going to be going through AWS Fargate for serverless containers, right? So tons of stuff to do, something for everyone. I hope you enjoyed the questions. And, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments of this video or of the videos any video that I drop. You can ask any questions and I'll make sure that I address it. I will address it in the comments, as well as if it is a good candidate for this show, I will address it up here because maybe more people need that answer as well. So before we go, let's leave off with our chat. Sharon said, this was awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. All right. And said, thank you for all that you do. Thank you for being here, right? Because although I love doing this and I would even if there was nobody here, I would still be answering these questions because I know it helps people even if they can't watch it live. But it is so much better when I have amazing people here with me, like you, like Don, like Good Guy when he's around, like D, which I did want to talk about D, right? Because I don't know if he's watching, but the questions that he's asking, he makes use of the resources that he has, right? So he's been asking me questions, he'll send me messages in the Patreon from time to time, ask me, okay, how can I do this? How can I do that? Right. And he is committed. He's focused. And I seriously, I'm looking forward to him landing that position that he's been applying to. And Sean, Sean is amazing as well. Right. I hope that testing, that part-time testing job is going really well and that you're learning a lot. Right. So I just appreciate all of my subscribers, especially the ones who communicate with me in the chat, letting me know what they're working on, what they're doing, all that good stuff. So, so I just wanted to, just another one. I appreciate you all. You guys are amazing. Totally amazing. All right. But I do have one question before we go. What is that question, Tech Coach Ralph? What is that question? The question of the night is...
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Is this not why you are here? To get that entertainment, that you know what? Let's call it tech entertainment, right? Have a great time, get your questions answered, and you continue to level up and you win, all that good stuff, right? But with that being said, I truly appreciate you being here, and I am about to go because I got things to do. Thank you once again, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts. Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again. Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
warriors of the North. Today we have tasted the sweet nectar of victory. Our foes indeed defeated, and their lands are now bound before us. The gods themselves have favored our glorious deeds on this glorious day. We have shed blood, sweat, and tears to claim this land. Our relentless spirit, our unyielding determination. These are the very essence of our people. It's been our ancestors rejoice in the halls of Valhalla. For today, we have added to their eternal glory. Our victories will echo throughout the ages, and our names will be etched in the annals of history. But let us not forget the present pain, the brothers and sisters we lost. They now feast in the hall of our forefathers, watching over us with pride. Their sacrifice has paved the way for this moment of triumph. As we celebrate this conquest, let us also remember that our journey is far from over. More land awaits our conquest, more battles upon us forth, and the fire in our hearts burn ever brighter, for there is no limit to what we can achieve. To those who dare stand against us, and to tremble in fear, for they shall witness the fury of the northern storm, the wrath of the untamed barbarians. Today we celebrate our victory. Tomorrow, we set our sights on new horizons, uncharted land where our banners will fly high. We are Vikings, we're barbarians, we are masters of conquest.